Modern dating just upgraded the standards for love. Are you still loving by outdated rules? Because if love feels like guessing, waiting, over-explaining, and doing the relationship math at 2 a.m., that's not love being hard, that's outdated standards. You might be operating from an old relationship culture in a brand new era of love. So if you've ever said, "Why do I keep ending up in the same situation?" Or, "Why do I keep abandoning myself even when I know better?" Stay with me, because the answer might be simpler than you think. Today I'm going to break down what soft love actually means and what it doesn't, why your standards may feel too much to certain people, and a 3-part checklist you can use right now to stop abandoning yourself in your relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your standards aren't too high, you've just been accepting too little. And here's the shocking part. A lot of women, especially high-achieving women, are still loving by outdated rules. Rules like, if I'm low maintenance, I'll be easier to love. If I don't bring it up, it won't push him away. If I'm patient enough, he'll finally change. If I'm understanding enough, he'll finally commit. And these rules, they sound mature, but they're actually emotional survival. Because many of us were taught that love is something you quietly endure, which is why we normalize what should have been a red flag a long time ago. We normalize disappearing acts, hot and cold energy, commitment dodging, I'm not ready, but acting like a boyfriend, or I miss you with no effort a lot. And finally, situationships. And then we rename it timing, or we say they're not ready, they're just stressed. Or my personal favorite, maybe I'm just expecting too much. No, babe, you're not expecting too much. You're expecting the wrong things from the wrong standard. Be honest. How much of your love life has been you over-functioning to make someone else's dysfunction feel normal? This really hit me when I saw an Instagram post about Gen Z's romantic vocabulary for 2026. And at first I smiled because some of the phrases were so cute, like golden hour romance. Hello, so adorable. But the more I read, the more I realized this isn't just cute, it's deep. It was a cheat sheet for what's been missing in a lot of relationships and why so many of us keep getting hurt. It was people finally naming what they actually wanted in their relationships. Peace, emotional safety, consistency, clarity, honesty. And that's when I remembered something my brother said on a family vacay we had together. He said the biggest generational gap isn't between us and Gen Z. It's between us and our parents. Because the way they loved and the way we love, well, it's dramatically different. In a lot of our childhoods, love was practical. Provide, stay, endure. You didn't question the adults. You didn't talk back. You definitely weren't having deep emotional conversations like, "So when you said that, it really triggered my nervous system." A lot of us grew up with this unspoken rule. Love is proved through sacrifice. And because of that, as women, we got really good at holding relationships together, even when it was costing us. We become the understanding one, the supportive one, the patient one, the one who doesn't need too much, the one who has it handled. But if you're always the one handling it, well, that's not partnership. That's you carrying the relationship. Have you ever been in something where you were always there for them, but it didn't feel like they were really there for you? That's why we need a new rule to live by when it comes to love. So here's the part that changes things for you. I want you to think about one question. How did that make you feel? Well, that one question is basically a whole new relationship culture, because it shifts the standard from, "Can you tolerate this?" to, "Is this emotionally safe?" From, "Just get over it," to choosing, "Well, let's understand it." From, "Don't be too dramatic," to, "Your feelings are valid and they're just information." But if you were raised without that language, you might misread calm as boring, And you might think if it's not intense, it can't be real. If I'm not nervous, I must not care about it. And if I'm not obsessing, it's definitely not love. And that's why you chase intensity. And this is the part that matters. Some of what we call chemistry is actually a nervous system on overdrive. Those butterflies, sometimes they're not romance. Sometimes they're your body saying, I don't feel secure here. Because your body knows before your mind does. Here's a quick example. If someone takes 12 hours to text you back, and you're fine one moment and spiraling the next, well, that roller coaster isn't passion, that's uncertainty. Which brings me to the real question. What does healthy love actually look like? When I saw Gen Z's love vocabulary, it completely clicked. They're not inventing random cute phrases. They're trying to name the feeling of healthy love in a world that has made love so confusing. Words like heart safe, soul safe, emotional home, healing haven, safe sparks. But those aren't just trendy lingo, even though it sounds like it. Those are new standards. They're basically saying, I want a relationship where I can actually breathe without wondering where I stand. And then there are those phrases that sound funny, but they're actually so wise. Like romance without receipts. I mean, that one makes me laugh every time, but it's also a masterclass. Because it means, don't just tell me you care. Show me. And not once, not when you're trying to win me back, not when you're lonely, but consistently. That's consistency becoming the new I love you. Not maybe, not promises, not one day. Proof. And then there's this whole other vibe that Gen Z is obsessed with that's basically saying, please don't waste my time. Like love limbo, heart on hold. And if you've ever been emotionally invested but nothing is defined, if you're acting like a partner but not being chosen like one, well, that's heart on hold. But a lot of women stay there because they don't want to look too needy. So they start lying to themselves about how they really feel. And they call it being chill. The truth is, clarity is not a nice to have. Clarity is emotional safety. If you're confused, well, that's your answer. Okay, now here's where I want to give you something you can actually use. Because soft love, well, it sounds great, but it's also a practice. It's something you can learn. And that's what people mean when they say soft love era. So let me give you the new standard, and it's just 3 words. Safe, certain, consistent. Now I want you to think of this as a filter you use to protect your heart and choose yourself. Let's start with safety. Here's where you ask yourself, can I be honest here without getting punished for it? Can I express my feelings without being mocked or minimized? Can I bring up a concern without them withdrawing, stonewalling, or flipping it on me? Because when love feels safe, you don't have to walk on eggshells. But if you're editing yourself to keep someone in a relationship with you, then you're not safe, you're performing. Next, let's talk about certainty in your relationships. Ask yourself, do I know where I stand? Are we on the same page? Do I feel chosen, or am I constantly waiting for the next sign? Certainty doesn't mean no conflict. It means you're not living in chronic guessing. But if your relationship is built on hoping, then your nervous system never gets to rest. And finally, let's do consistency. Here's where you ask yourself, do their actions match their words repeatedly? Are they making a real effort for me? Do they show up when it matters, not just when it's convenient? Consistency is how trust is built. But if you keep falling in love with their good moments, then you'll keep getting hurt by their patterns. So let's recap. Soft love isn't boring love. Soft love is love that doesn't cost you your mental health or your sanity. Now here's what I really want to say to the woman watching this video. The one who's smart, self-aware, and successful, and still finds herself trying to earn love. You're constantly having to work for it, waiting, giving too much, over-explaining yourself, over-functioning. But calling it love, the truth is, you're abandoning yourself. Not because you're weak, but because outdated love rules trained you to do this. Earn love, prove love, survive love. And I need you to know something. Love is not supposed to feel like a performance review, and you're not supposed to be auditioning for a partnership, hoping one day you'll finally get the part. So yes, modern dating upgraded the standards. And it's not about you being dramatic, it's not about you being too picky, and it's not about having a list that no human could ever meet. It's about telling the truth. The bar isn't high, the bar is healthy. And healthy love has a feeling, which brings me to this. Soft love is the new standard. If it doesn't feel safe, certain, and consistent, it isn't healthy love. That's as simple as it is. If you want help applying this to your own love life, I made you something special. Scan the QR code on your screen with your phone camera or click the link in the description to download the Soft Love Era cheat sheet, so your standards stop being a vibe and start being a practice. And if you're ready to stop abandoning yourself and start choosing yourself, well, subscribe to this channel and give me a heart. Because we don't do survival love here. We do love that feels good on a random Tuesday. Now, the real question isn't whether Gen Z raised the bar on you, it's whether you're ready to stop lowering it. You are loved.